I wanted to give my early thoughts on a potential rematch between Joseph Parker and Dillian Whyte, because Joseph Parker has called for it. Dillian Whyte, in my opinion, doesn't have any other better options, and again, because most of the top 10 heavyweights are booked up, it actually makes sense for this fight to happen. From a competitive standpoint, I would prefer to see Joseph Parker versus Joe Joyce, but Dillian Whyte for me is still a top 15 heavyweight, and he's not at the bottom 5 of the top 15, in my opinion. I think he's still a reasonably credible challenge, and if it does happen, I expect Joseph Parker to stop Dillian Whyte probably before the 8th round. I think it won't be that competitive. And I just want to comment on the people who found Joseph Parker's call out to be funny. They liked it a lot more than I did. A lot of people commented in my videos saying I was a bit too harsh, a bit too serious, and I've noticed a lot of other channels talking about the call out, loving it. They really enjoyed it. Well, I can say this, I was a little surprised at first, and it was, a bit weird. I did find it peculiar, a bit strange, etc. But I've watched it several times, and after the second, third, and fourth time, I will admit, I found it interesting. I actually found it quite funny. I found it entertaining. I'll actually compare it to Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age! Kick some ice.
Talk about your cold shoulder.
Freeze is coming.
Allow me to break the ice.
You are not sending me to the cooler. Freeze where? Stay cool, bird boy.
Or Daniel Cormier in that chicken commercial.
Because you know I'm all about that cake and chicken. I'm all about that cake and chicken. I'm all about that cake and chicken. I'm all about that cake.
You don't see either one of them coming. You don't expect it to happen. You don't expect these guys to act this way. But then you take another look at it. It intrigues you. You find it interesting, and you end up watching it again and again. And then you start to find it funny. And then you actually are happy that they did this because it's entertaining. That is the best way I can describe it. And in terms of, again, how the rematch would go, Dillian Whyte was basically a street kid who picked up boxing to improve his life and has made the most of it. And I give him credit for what he has achieved in his career. It's been very impressive. But he's never been a talented athlete. He's always been a tough guy who has picked up decent skills over the years and been able to use them to his advantage, but he's never had great athleticism. He's relied on his toughness for the most part, and as that dwindles over time, so does your longevity. Joseph Parker, this guy in his prime, in my opinion, had the fastest hands out of all of the natural heavyweights. Faster than Andy Ruiz, faster than Carlos Takam, faster than Tyson Fury, faster than Anthony Joshua, etc. So he relied on that during the early part of his career, but then he had to rely more on the fundamentals and also on his toughness, but he also, again, has a far more athleticism to fall back on than Dillian Whyte. And also, I don't think his chin has diminished as much. Even though he got dropped and beaten up by Joe Joyce, he got dropped a couple of times against Zhilei Zhang, but he popped up both times like a spring. So I don't think his punch resistance has waned as much as Dillian Whyte's has. In which case, Dillian Whyte, who also has not lived the cleanest lifestyle outside of the ring, will not be able to keep up with Joseph Parker, I wholeheartedly believe. And plus, Joseph Parker is hitting harder now. And Dillian Whyte's punch resistance, which he's always relied on, has dwindled. So I think, again, Joseph Parker will stop Dillian Whyte, actually probably before the 6th round. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours down below. Again, from a competitive standpoint, just because Joe Joyce is extremely heavily built, I would prefer that fight over this. But at the same time, Joseph Parker just fought Deontay Wilder and Zhilei Zhang back-to-back. So before his big title shot, having a quote-unquote easier fight, you could say, is certainly not undeserved. And if the rematch with Anthony Joshua was on the table, he would definitely take it. And I'll do a video on that because a lot of people were saying in my video where I asked the question who Joseph Parker should fight next, were saying it should be a rematch with Anthony Joshua. Let me know your thoughts down below about a rematch between him and Dillian Whyte. Catch you guys later, like the video and subscribe to the channel for more.